Our dear friend, we will say Mangalacharan prayers in honor of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire nashtapreshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhakti nashtaki कृष्णे सदममोपगते धर्मागणिभिः सह कलौ नष्टं दृशामेषा पुराण अर्कोदनोदिता अनर्थोपश्मं साक्षात् भक्तियोगमधोक्षजे लोकस्य जनतो विद्वांस चक्रे सत्वते संहिताम् यस्य वैश्यमानायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्ति उत्पादते पुंसां शोकमोहमयापः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपीका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So happy to be with all of you here today. So we're continuing the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the Amala Purana. Amala Purana means the Purana which is without any spotless textbook. So Srila Vyasadeva wrote many books. He wrote the Vedas, he wrote the Upanishad, and after that he wrote Vedanta Sutra. After writing all that, he wasn't satisfied. So then what did he do? He wrote Srimad Bhagavat Puran. The Srimad Bhagavat Puran is his conclusion of the whole what do you call the whole philosophy of the Vedas. It is his conclusion. It is his final work. It is a work which satisfied him the most. So we are reading that. However, before we read that, I wanted to share with you my most recent realization, and it is based on a verse of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna was asked by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, that, oh dear Krishna, I'm hearing so much about this process of devotion and process of yoga. But if suppose somebody were to practice this process of yoga, but after practicing the process of yoga for a long time, suppose somewhere, because of uncontrolled mind, they are not able to finish the job in one lifetime, then what happens to them next? So then Krishna speaks in text number 40 of the Gita. He says, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Parthanaiva Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kaschit Durgatim Tatagat Gachati. So Krishna says, O son of Pritha, if transcendentalists engage in auspicious activities, does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Krishna continues, Prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva shashvati samaha suchinam shrimatam gehe yogo bhrashto abhijayate. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमता एतद्धि दुर्लभं तारं लोके जन्म यत् ईदृशम्. Can you say? Can you speak?
Atava ore yogi.
Translation.
Okay. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world.
Yes. Thank you. So in these verses, Krishna is saying that people, if we don't finish in one lifetime, the next lifetime, Krishna gives a second chance where we take birth in a situation which is comfortable. We were born in a family of great devotees, or born in a situation where we are able to easily practice devotional life. So I have seen over the next last 10, 15 years of my Krishna consciousness that sometimes it seems that we are teaching to our other people Krishna consciousness, and bringing them up in Krishna consciousness. But after very few years, I find that people are able to, of practice, they're able to catch on to their previous state of Krishna consciousness. And then they realize that they were actually quite mature in their spiritual life. So all of you are here, although you seem like you're young in Krishna consciousness and quite new in this lifetime of practicing Krishna consciousness, but you can be assured that as you practice the process, very soon you will be able to reclaim what is your own from your many past lives. Because all of you, I feel, are much more advanced than me. But Holy Krishna is giving me an opportunity to a little bit help you in reminding you what your spiritual realizations are. So as you practice spiritual life, very soon I'm hopeful you will be able to realize your past lives, your progress of past life, not the past life itself, and you'll be able to, flourish very nicely in the path of Krishna consciousness. So that being said, we will study today first canto, chapter 13 of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will share my screen. You have to be, if you can be allowed. Okay. Okay. We are in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 13, first canto. So where are we right now? So chapter 13 is titled Dhṛtarāṣṭra Quits Home. Now, why is this chapter being discussed? Because a question was asked that in what situation was Bhagavatam spoken? The Bhagavatam was spoken by who? Shukadeva Goswami. Who was it spoken to? Parikshit Maharaj. So why was Bhagavatam spoken to Parikshit Maharaj? That is the question being asked. To answer that question, uh, the Suta Goswami is speaking to Shaunaka Rishi that actually the reason it was spoken because Parikshit became the king. Now, how did Parikshit became the king? Who was the king before that? Because if he becomes the king, he must be replacing somebody. So the king or the emperor prior to Parikshit was Dhritarashtra. So that is why chapter 13 is titled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. This is to remind us, this is to build the case that that the Dhritarashtra will leave the palace, and then Pandavas will retire, and then Parikshit will be coronated as the king. And then Parikshit also will retire, and that's when the Bhagavatam will be spoken. So this is laying down the background of what's going to happen in the whole Bhagavatam. So we will start with the first verse. Okay. Sutta uvacha vidurastirtha yatraya maitrad atmano gatim gyatva gad dhastinapuram Taya Vapta Vivatsitaha. Okay, we can all go in turns. Sanskrit. I have a friend here. He's Rajiv
Hare
from
Krishna.
New Jersey. So he will read also the words with us.
Suta Vacha Vidura. Limited zoom. Suta Vacha Vidurasa Tirtha Yatrayam Maitrayade Atumano Gatim Janatvagada Dastina Puranam Tayavatpata Vivita Shita.
Okay, no problem. Very good. We can go on all in cycle. Everybody can cite one time.
Krishna. Sutta Uvacha विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयात् आत्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गाद्धास्तिनापुरं तया तया वाप्ता विवित्सितः।
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायाम् मैत्रेयात् आत्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गादास्ति न पुरं तया वाप्ता विविच्युतः।
Suta uvacha Vidurastraya Yatradam Maitrayadi Amanogatim Jayatvad Jitvad Dashtinapuram Tyavapha Vivistitaha.
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयात् आत्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा हस्तिनापुरं तव्यआप्ता विवित्सितः।
सूत उवाच विदुरतीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मगतिं ज्ञात्वगदस्तिनापुरं तया वाप्ता विविष्टतः।
Did everyone cover already?
No.
No. Okay.
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गादास्तिनापुरं तया वाप्तविविष्टिता।
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गाद्धस्तिनपुरं तया वाप्ता विवित्सितः।
तवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गाधस्तिनापुरं तया वाप्ता विवित्सितः।
स्तुत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयादात्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गात्हस्तिनापुरं तया वाप्तविवित्सितः।
सूत उवाच विदुरस्तीर्थयात्रायां मैत्रेयात् आत्मनो गतिं ज्ञात्वा गतस्तिनापुरं तया वाप्ता विवित्सितः।
That's all, Prabhuji.
It's everyone? Okay. Very good. So we are right now. Hare Krishna. So the translation is, let's see. Sri Sutta Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastinapur. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. So what did Vidura desired? So our acharyas explain that Vidura desired to understand the process of bhakti yoga to Krishna. And once he received it, he started. He continued traveling, and as he was traveling, he came back to Hastinapur. So why he came back to Hastinapur? Let's see here. Actually, before coming to Hastinapur, how did he become expert? After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. So Vidura was traveling and he happened to meet Maitreya Muni. And when he met Maitreya Muni, he asked him about the process of Krishna consciousness and he received the knowledge. So in this chapter, there are three parts. The first part is Vidura is welcomed into the assembly of what you call Yudhishthira Maharaj or the Pandavas. And after that, um, Dhritarashtra receives instructions from Vidura, and then Narada Muni comes and he helps allay the lamentation of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So in today's our discussion, we will try to cover the part where Dhritarashtra is received in the assembly. Where Vidura is received in the assembly of Pandavas. That is how much we will cover today in today's discussion. Of course, you're welcome to go back and do it slowly, but I want to cover this whole section today in our discussion. So, after asking questions, he received knowledge about Krishna consciousness, and then next, he came to see the Pandavas. So when he came to see the Pandavas, what happened there? When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthir, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, many other wives of the Kauravas and other ladies with the children all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. So all these were the residents of Hastinapur. And it is mentioned here in this verse that it appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. What does that mean? It means that just like in a body, life air is needed. If there is no life air, no prana, body is dead. It has no use. But when the life air is there, body has some use. It can be used in some service. Similarly, because these were all wonderful devotees of the Lord, when they saw a pure devotee like Vidura come back there, they were extremely happy. They were really joyful. And they felt that as if somebody had given them a new life. And what happened next? With great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. So they were very happy, and in happiness, what they were doing? They were embracing each other. They were, celebrating the coming back of a great saint to their kingdom. So they were all very happy, and they were celebrating that. Next, due to anxiety and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. So our dear Srila Prabhupada explains here in the purport that how to welcome a guest. He says the first thing is that you offer them obeisances, and then you bathe them, their feet, then you give them nice food, and then once they have rested and they have enough food, then you offer them a nice place to sit, and then you eulogize them. You say some nice things about welcoming them. And this is something which is to be done with anybody, even if the person is an enemy. So Prabhupada is saying that this is how we should learn to welcome guests at home. Continuing, Maharaj Yudhishthira said, "My uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson." So here Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, first of all, that we're very grateful to you for taking care of our body. How we were in many types of calamities because Dhritarāṣṭra and his sons were planning always to kill us. And you helped us. So he gives two examples. An example of poisoning and an example of arson. Arson means trying to Agni Deha, by setting on fire. So does anybody here remember these two instances where Vidura helped them? Sorry. Anybody wants to share this pastime of Mahabharata, if you remember how he was saved?
He
Or how
was
they were
saved
saved?
when Pandavas were really young. Duryodhana wanted to burn them by putting them in the house of wax,
Yes.
and Vidura gave them a heads up to dig tunnels beneath the house so that they could escape.
Very good. Yeah. Vidura told them that, see, a body A soul is not burned by fire, but a body can be burned by fire. That's the first thing he said. And then he also gave him another hint. Srila Prabhupada talks about that. He says that, let's see. Yes, he also said that weapons, yes, a weapon not made of steel or any other material element can be more sharp to kill an enemy. And he who knows this is never killed. So nobody understood what he was saying. And Kunti asked Yudhishthira, do you understand what kind of sign language he's talking about? And Yudhishthira was very smart. So he couldn't understand what puzzle Vidura was speaking. And he said, Mother, he's telling us that we will be burnt alive in our new palace in which we are being sent. So that's how he came to know. That's how the Pandavas came to know that they were going to be killed by the Duryodhana, and they escaped that. Next verse. While traveling on the surface of the earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? So here comes a very important verse. Bhavadvida bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadabhrita. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of God within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. So this is a very important verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, because this verse is laying down the foundation that how we are to approach pure devotees. So when we approach a great devotee of the Lord, we have to understand that great devotee of the Lord is not only himself present there, but actually he's carrying within his heart the Supreme Lord himself. That means he is actually a holy place. He is a person who is to be worshipped as much as we worship Krishna on the altar. In fact, he should be worshipped more than Krishna on the altar, because Krishna on the altar may not be accessible. Suppose you come in the front of a deity of the Lord and you say some prayers to him. The Lord hears the prayers, but when the Lord responds, can you hear the response? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But when we approach a pure devotee of the Lord and we say a prayer, then the pure devotee responds. He reciprocates. So a pure devotee, because he is a via media, he's a transparent via media for connecting with Krishna, he's actually to be worshipped much, much more than Krishna. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying that actually people like yourself, Mahatma Vidura, you actually go to a holy place and you purify the holy place. Because the purpose of going to a holy place is to hear from the sadhu. And when we hear from the sadhu, then our heart is transformed, because then we get to really touch Krishna or hear from Krishna, what Krishna is trying to tell us. So this purport is very powerful, and Prabhupada says here at the very end, let's see, maybe we can all read something of it. The personality of Godhead is always with such pure devotees because of their unalloyed service, which is without any tinge of fruitive action or utopian speculation. They are in the actual service of the Lord, specifically by the process of hearing and chanting. So when we go to a holy place, we should seek such pure devotees. And how do we identify such pure devotees? That they are always engaged in the service of the Lord. How? By hearing and chanting. The more a person is absorbed in hearing and chanting, more he is to be considered a pure devotee. At the same time, we are limited, because we can meet somebody in our life who may be very austere, who may be chanting a lot, but may not be so much absorbed. So at that point, we are limited. We cannot really tell. Krishna is the one who has to show us a great devotee. Krishna says, when we hear in CC, that Brahmanda Brahmite Jiva, how's the words? Brahmanda Brahmite, kaun bhagyavan jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Rata Beej. And there's another verse where in CC it is said that a person may be rotating for many, many lifetimes in Brahmanda, but only when Krishna is pleased, he gets to meet a pure devotee. And when the pure devotee is pleased, then the person meets Krishna. Now, once we have met pure devotee, then we're definitely going to meet Krishna, because pure devotee is very merciful. He's actually much more merciful than Krishna himself. So, in one sense, we are waiting on Krishna's mercy to introduce us to a pure devotee. Now, from our perspective, because we're very small, we really cannot find a pure devotee. We cannot go with because we don't have the capacity to discern who the pure devotee is. Some of the external characteristics are that they are always absorbed in hearing and chanting. So, Prabhupada writes here, the pure devotees, hear from the authorities and chant, sing and write the glories of the Lord. Mahamuni Vyasadeva heard from Narada and then he chanted in writing. Shukadeva Goswami studied from his father and he described it to Parikshit. That is the way of Srimad Bhagavatam. So by their actions, the pure devotees of the Lord can enter any place into a place of pilgrimage. And the holy places are worth the name only on their account. Such pure devotees are able to rectify the polluted atmosphere of any place. And what to speak of a holy place, rendered unholy by the questionable actions of interested persons who try to adopt a professional life at the cost of the reputation of a holy place. So if you have been to a holy place in India, say Vrindavan or Mayapur or Jagannath Puri, you find there are a lot of pandas there, pujaris there, who are always heckling you, please give us this much money, we have to do this worship, that worship. They are always pushing on you that we should do this worship, that worship. And when you go through that experience, sometimes you think, man, why did I come here? I wanted to take darshan of the Lord, but I got so much heckle for money, give me this, give me that. Like if you ever come to Braj, specifically if you go to places like Gokul or even Nandagaon also, some of the places the pujaris are really, really sharp. They can really tell any person who has more money than another person, and they can really get behind you, and they won't leave you unless you know that you have completely emptied your wallet, and there's no way you can escape them. They're very smart. So after having such experiences, people may feel discouraged, about their spiritual practice and spiritual life, like how much we should do. But that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that actually the people we should be looking for when you go to a holy place are people who are absorbed in hearing and chanting. And when we meet such people, then they purify the atmosphere of the holy place and also they purify our heart. So Srila Prabhupada says, one should also find representatives of Vidura who have no desire in life save and except to serve the personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead is always with such pure devotees because of the unalloyed service, which is without any tinge of fruitive action or utopian speculation. So, great devotees of the Lord are always unalloyed in the service. They have no desire for karma or some kind of jnana. They're free from that. So, Srila Yudhishthira Maharaj is glorifying Vidura for purifying the holy places. Why? Because prior to this, Vidura, if you know the history of Mahabharata, he was in the assembly hall. At one point, Duryodhana had criticized Vidura and had said, Vidura, you are actually a son of a Shudra or a Shudrani. So that's why you are third class and you don't deserve to give any advice to us, the kings of this kingdom or the prince of this kingdom. So hearing that, Vidura thought, okay, these people don't respect my opinion. So what's the point speaking here? I will go and rather travel all around the world and share my realizations with others. So then he traveled many different holy places. Somebody may think, oh, he's going to holy places to get purified. No, the sages or the great devotees, wherever they travel, that place becomes holy place. And when they go to holy place, they actually purify that holy place. An experience of that you can have yourself. How many here of you have been to New Vrindavan? You can raise your hand. Nobody's raising hand? Let's see. I don't see the raise of the hands here. Pratibha said she has been there. Krishna, you have been there?
Yes, Guruji. Yeah.
Krishna just lives right next door to New Vrindavan. And he's inviting anybody and everybody who wants to go to New Vrindavan. You can come to his house and he will drive you to New Vrindavan. Harsh, you have been to New Vrindavan?
No, bro.
What are you doing, man? What's the point of living in Michigan? And what's the point of having Krishna as a friend if you can't go to New Vrindavan? How about Praneeth? Praneeth, have you been to New Vrindavan yet?
Okay, Prabhuji. It's always the upcoming plan.
Yeah. And I think also Roshni also went there. So New Vrindavan, somebody make a question, is New Vrindavan really like Vrindavan? There's a Maharaj there, Varshana Maharaj. He has been there for the last 40 years. He has never left it. And so devotees ask him, don't you want to go to Vrindavan and holy places in India? He said, what's the need? Our dear teacher Srila Prabhupada, he bought Vrindavan right here. And that's his experience. My personal experience is that whenever I have gone to New Vrindavan, it feels as if we have stepped back into Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan is not based on, like hey, old buildings, old temples. It is based on the consciousness. And the moment you enter the consciousness or the doors of New Vrindavan, you can feel that it has been touched by so many pure devotees over the last so many decades that it has become a tirtha. It has become a holy place personified. Our dear teacher Srila Prabhupada himself personally bought Vrindavan, through his prayers here. And since then, because of his prayer, because he's a pure devotee, Vrindavan has stayed there. And that is why Prabhupada named it New Vrindavan, that this is the newest Vrindavan. And it is not the case that Prabhupada was doing that for the first time. In fact, in the past also, when Krishna was living in Dwarka, Krishna was feeling separation from Vrindavan. So much so that sometimes he will faint thinking about the gopis in Vrindavan. So then the queens of Dwarka, they came up with a solution. What they did, inside Dwarka, they made a region which looked as if it was in Vrindavan. And they made replicas of the gopis and Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mata. And sometimes when Krishna will feel a lot of separation, they will take him there. And seeing that place, he will feel revived in his consciousness. So he will see the replicas of the gopis, his friends, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata. And seeing them, he will feel very happy. Now, what would happen is that sometimes, he will wonder, why the gopis are not moving? Why my friends are not moving? And then the queens or his friends will tell him, the reason they're not moving, Balaram would say, or somebody else would say, Rohini Mata will say, because Rohini Mata and Balaram, they are also in Dwarka. And they would say, because they are so much in happy, so much in ecstasy, they can't speak. And Krishna will believe that. Because Krishna is a very simple person. He believes. Even if somebody tells him a lie, he believes that. And Krishna will accept that and he will hang out there as long as his separation, his feeling of suffering will not go away. And when the suffering will assuage, then he will come to realize, oh, this is not Yamuna, this is the ocean. Oh, these are replicas. And then he will realize he is a king in Dwarka. So then he will go back to his palace. So this making a replica of Vrindavan is a traditional thing where the great devotees are able to reconstruct what is there in Vrindavan and bring the holy dham there. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, when he was traveling all around the world, he was bringing lots of different holy places. Just like here in Baltimore, he named it New Kulina Gram. He named San Francisco Temple New Jagannath Puri, because that's where they had the first Rath Yatra. He made LA New Dwarka Dham, because he brought the deity Rukmini Dwarkadish. Which other place? There was also New Navadip Dham. Oh, there is the new Panihati Dham that is at Atlanta. Can anybody else remember any of the names of the holy sites he made? There is New Talawan in Mississippi. It's a farm community. Then there is what else is there? There is one more in Paris. I'm trying to remember what was the name of it. It's north of Paris. He made a farm community there. So like that, Srila Prabhupada went all around the world and he bought the holy places to here. There's Gita Nagari Dham, which he made in where do you go? Pennsylvania. So, isn't it? In Pennsylvania? PA? Have you heard of that? No. Yeah, I guess you have to go on a road trip, Krishan, and then you can figure out all these places. So the purpose of going to a holy place is to purify our heart. And we can only do that by seeking the association of great devotees. So this verse is very important because this verse is telling us what we need to do when we go to a holy place. We actually seek a pure devotee. And by taking the association of pure devotees, our heart is purified. And then we continue. One more next verse. Yudhishthira Maharaj continues. He says, my uncle, you must have visited Dwarka. In that holy place, our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of Lord Shri Krishna. You might have seen them or heard about them. Are they all living happily in their abodes? So, here, Yudhishthira is asking about his cousins, which are the residents of Dwarka. Now, although by this time, all the residents of Dwarka have already left their body, or they have left the planet, because there was a family fratricide where they somehow or other killed each other. So, and that's another a very long past time. But in that past time, he doesn't tell that. So we will hear in the next few verses that Vidura would not talk about it. Why? Because Vidura doesn't want to be the carrier of a bad news. Because bad news comes by its own accord. So he doesn't want to bring the bad news to them. But the word which Prabhupada talks about here is Krishna Devata, which is being the word used for the residents of Dwarka, which means those who are always wrapped in the service of Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada makes a very important point in this purport that somebody can be a renunciate or somebody can be a grihastha. But if they're wrapped in the service of the Lord, then they are Krishna Devata. They're wonderful devotees of the Lord. They're to be respected, they're to be worshipped. So don't worship somebody based on what color they wear, but worship based on what kind of consciousness they carry with them. Okay, that's the most important thing. Next verse. Thus being Koshma Maharaj Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced except the news of the annihilation of Yadu dynasty. Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see Pandavas distressed at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable and unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord. As I mentioned before, he didn't want to give the bad news because he didn't want to carry the bad news to them. Okay, and this will be the last verse of our today, verse number 14. Thus, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his eldest brother, and in this way bring happiness to all the others. So, sorry, I'm having some bad news. So here, this ends a section where Mahatma Vidura is welcomed by Yudhishthira, and he will now start speaking to his brother. And the most important point here is that he will speak and everybody else will also eagerly listen what he is speaking. So if somebody here can read this last paragraph, that'll be wonderful. Mahatma Vidura. Somebody can unmute yourself and read this.
Mahatma Vidura had already adopted the renounced order of life, and therefore he did not return to his paternal palace to enjoy some material comforts. He accepted out of his own mercy what was offered to him by Maharaj Yudhishthira, but the purpose of living in the palace was to deliver his elder brother Dhṛtarāṣṭra, who was too much materially attached. Dhṛtarāṣṭra lost all his state and descendants in the fight with Maharaj Yudhishthira, and still, due to his sense of helplessness, he did not feel ashamed to accept the charity and hospitality of Maharaj Yudhishthira. On the part of Maharaj Yudhishthira, it was quite in order to maintain his uncle in a befitting manner, but acceptance of such magnanimous hospitality by Dhṛtarāṣṭra was not at all desirable. He accepted it because he thought there was no other alternative. Vidura particularly came to enlighten Dhṛtarāṣṭra and to give him a lift to the higher status of spiritual cognition. It is the duty of enlightened souls to deliver the fallen ones, and Vidura came for that reason. But talks of spiritual enlightenment are so refreshing that while instructing Dhṛtarāṣṭra, Vidura attracted the attention of all the members of the family, and all of them took pleasure in hearing him patiently.
Sorry.
This is the way of spiritual realization. The message should be heard attentively, and if spoken by a realized soul, it will act on the dormant heart of the conditioned soul. And by continuously hearing, one can attain the perfect state of self-realization.
Very good. So this is what I want to highlight here, the process of spiritualization. The process of spiritualization is very, very easy in the path of Bhakti Yoga. Say you are on the path of, making a lot of money. You have to work very hard, hear what your boss says, then go back and try to perform the work. And then there's a chance you may succeed, there's a chance you may not succeed. This is for becoming successful in the material life, in the path of karma. Suppose you want to become perfect in the path of Ashtanga Yoga. You have to learn to flex your muscle, body, sit straight for hours, do a lot of austerities, and then you may be able to go deeper into the path of Ashtanga Yoga. Say you're doing study of some scriptures or some books, you're writing a paper, you want to win a Nobel Prize award by becoming a scientist. You have to work, really, really hard to come up with some ideas, write a lot of papers, and then you may be able to come up with something. And then when you die or you're close to dying, then you may receive Nobel Prize. Because it's 20 years after you have discovered something, or 30 years after you discover something. But the process of healing, the process of bhakti yoga is so simple. What do we have to do? We have to find realized souls. How do we find them? By praying to Krishna. When Krishna shows to us realized souls, we have to offer them our ear and hear from them. And just by hearing from them, we don't have to do anything else. We have to just hear from them like this. Just by hearing from them, our heart will be awakened. All the chanting we do, why are we all doing all this chanting? Our chanting is full of offenses. It is filled with mistakes. We're not paying attention. The reason we're doing chanting is because we're praying to Krishna. Oh Krishna, please send a great devotee in my life so that I can hear from him. And just by hearing from him, my heart will be transformed. Just like Parikshit Maharaj. He didn't chant 16 rounds. He didn't chant 32 rounds. He didn't chant even one round. What did he do? He just heard from Shukadeva Goswami. And just by hearing, he became self-realized. He understood his relationship with the Lord. See, we all have a unique relationship with the Lord. And that can only be revealed to us by hearing from a realized soul. So the process which is being highlighted in this section of Bhagavatam is healing. And this is something Prabhupada talks about a lot. That healing is such an easy process. If suppose somebody is sleeping and the alarm rings, you wake up. So healing is a sense which is always awake, which is always available. And it is something which is the first step in our spiritual life, healing. So when we're trying to read Prabhupada's purport, we're really trying to hear from Prabhupada. We're hoping that his consciousness will touch our heart. But because it is a written word, it can be hard. That is why we are praying to Krishna and praying to Prabhupada that please send pure devotees in my life. And when we find pure devotees, we have to leave everything away, throw everything away, and just hear from them. So we should try to imagine, if not now, maybe in future, a vision of our life where every year, for many, many weeks, for many, many months, we're able to spend time in association of pure devotees, in association of our Gurujanas, and hear from them in person, just like he did. And when we do that, then our heart, which is dormant, will be awakened. So all the members of Pandavas, they were really happy. Although Vidura was not speaking to them, Vidura spoke to Maharaj Dhṛtarāṣṭra, but they were very happy because they were getting to hear from a pure devotee. So if somehow any of you have ever a chance to hear from pure devotees, I mean, we are friends. I'm not a pure devotee. But the message we can take from this verse, if we get an opportunity to hear from pure devotee, then we should be really eager to hear from them. And if we do that, then our heart will be awakened and we will make lots of progress in spiritual life. So I want to end there. These are some thoughts on today's discussion of Bhagavatam. And now open it up for any reflection. You can share a question or anything which you like from our today's discussion, or any of the verses, any of the realizations you may have yourself. And if not, we can still go in turns and everybody can share it, at least one line from what we studied today. That'd be nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you again for such wonderful discourse on Srimad Bhagavatam verses. I probably have two reflections today. One is mostly the verse which discussed how Maharaj Yudhishthir talks to Vidura, saying that devotees of the Lord they carry Lord in their heart and they're themselves the holy place personified. That was a beautiful thing hearing from Maharaj Yudhishthir. And I think in the purport of that, it says that pure devotees are absorbed in hearing and chanting, and they're engaged in pure unalloyed service without any tinge of the utopian speculation or desire for fruitive action. I always, every time I hear this phrase, pure devotee, I get the sense that there are also devotees who are not pure, which is a little tricky for me to understand, but I think this verse always helps me reflect on what it means. And in my few experiences as well, sometimes when I would visit a temple and I'd have no idea what the traditions set on how you offer prayers. it's always a devotee who would come along and guide on how I can offer my blessings, service or prayers in a way, and then just following their instructions gives me a sense of satisfaction of my time at a temple. So again, at least in a little way, relate to what the bigger message of this verse that says that pure devotees are always absorbed in hearing and chanting. And also the point that he made that our spiritual process might go up and down, it might go through different phases, but hearing is always the first step in spiritual growth. So some days I'm not even doing that, but I feel like the days that is also getting hard for me, I should have some backup options so that I can just listen to even if I'm not able to render any service. So these are my reflections for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Praneeth, for the reflection. To your first point regarding devotees, the pure devotees are who are free from tinge of karma or jnana, which is utopian speculation or fruitive activities. So does it mean that there's also devotees who are not pure? Yes, that's where we fall in. We fall in the category of devotees who are not pure. But we are striving towards pure devotion. But at the same time, we understand that we have desires apart from pleasing Krishna. So if we can stop and think and see if there's any desire which is not about maintaining bare minimum of your body, but to actually gratify our senses and to have some other desires apart from serving Krishna, that means we're not pure devotees. But we are devotees because we are devoted to Krishna. So then the question may be asked, how do we find pure devotees? Actually, we can only find pure devotees when Krishna desires so. We have to beg Krishna to please send in our life pure devotees, because we by ourselves cannot find them. We are very limited in our capacity to find a pure devotee. Pure devotees are very, very rare, and Krishna keeps them hidden. Because if Krishna lets them know, then Krishna is basically giving us a key to his heart. Then he will be sold. Because if somehow or other we meet a pure devotee and we become connected to him, then Krishna is a property of the pure devotee, and pure devotee can easily handle that Krishna to us. So then Krishna will be sold, Krishna will become our property also. So Krishna is very careful in introducing us to pure devotees. He will show us here and there some glimpse, and then he keeps them away. Because he knows that if we spend too much time with them, we will also become pure devotees. I mean, at the end of the day, he wants us to become pure devotees. Also, he wants us to come back to his world, but he really wants us to desire that, because he doesn't like to force anything. He wants love. He doesn't want anything forced. Do this, do that, then you can get this. He doesn't like that. He doesn't want people to come to him for wishes. For that, there's demigods. You can go to them and get what you want to fulfill. But Krishna's only interested in one thing, which is pure love. So he doesn't want to force. He's waiting for us to become eager to come back to him. So the day we start desiring eagerly that we want to go back to Krishna, then Krishna will send pure devotees in your life somehow or other. He will keep sending them. And then you will see, oh, that is pure devotion. But I thought pure devotion was completely wrong. And that will happen again and again. So be ready for that in your life. The definition of pure devotee will change a lot. Because as you will go closer, you realize, oh, I thought that was pure devotion. But that's not pure devotion. Oh, I thought it happened with me a number of times. Initially we think based on cloth, or somebody is wearing saffron, he must be a pure devotee. Let me pay obeisances to him. Then we realize, oh, color doesn't matter. It is a consciousness. Then in terms of consciousness also, it changes a lot. Some people are very fixed up in following the rules. Oh, he wakes up at 2 o'clock. Oh, he eats only once a day. He must be pure devotee. But later we realize that also is not a characteristic of pure devotion. It's an internal characteristic, and you will find that as you go in more in spiritual life, that pure devotion is based on absorption, hearing, and chanting, and that you cannot measure it so much from outside. It's something you can only experience as you hear from pure devotees.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you for sharing reflection, and thank you for being consistently here. So nice to hear from you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very grateful for your session and class. One small reflection, Prabhuji. In previous verse, how it was mentioned that pure devotees are like carriers of are the holy place itself, like personified. So I've always had this conception that at the end, we know how powerful are the holy dhams, so we need to go there. But if we get the association of pure devotees, it is equivalent to solve it. It was fascinating to get that clear from Prabhuji.
Wonderful. So, interestingly, I want to add one more point. There's actually a verse in Bhagavatam itself, it comes later, but it is said that it is better to spend a day with a tiger in a cage than to spend a day with the karmi. Because the tiger will only want to eat our body, but staying with the karmi will eat up our consciousness. They will make us undo our karmi. And then it's also said that it's better to actually associate with the devotee, however fallen he may be, than to associate with the most pakka, most mode of goodness karmi. Because a karmi would not have devotion to the God. Whereas, suppose somebody is a devotee, he's having a lot of mistakes, a lot of problems in his life, but at least his goal is set, he wants to become a devotee of Krishna. So sometimes when we are looking for association with devotees, then we start thinking, oh, he's a new person, new devotee, maybe I don't need to spend so much time with him. No, he's far better than any person you will spend time outside in the material world. So we should appreciate all the devotees, although we should seek pure devotees as association as much as possible.
I think there are a lot of takeaways, but I think one interesting thing which I think I should learn is when Vidura came back and he was explaining about his trip, he spoke about all the good things, but he avoided the hardships that he faced and those selective choice of words and trying to be brief and to the point, I think is something I can take back.
Yes, very good. Yeah, he doesn't share the bad news. These days, if you go on social media, that's what we hear all the time is bad news. It travels so fast, isn't it? It's quite the opposite of Vidura role. Okay, thank you for sharing that.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the class this morning. And I think quick takeaways, I think Praneeth and Krishan already reflected on them, but for me, it's like the way you explain of what a pure devotee is and the qualities of a pure devotee and the idea like we should always associate with devotees, even if like it's not, we might not know like if that someone is a pure devotee or not, but the idea of associating with them and later finding out for ourselves, like, right, it's always good to still like bond and associate with people. I guess it was really important. And the other thing was like the consciousness that people carry them within and how important is that. Also like I think a personal reflection, there are certain places that I visit and sometimes the aura, like the way it is explained when Vidur Maharaj entered, like everyone was smiling, everyone was really happy from within. And sometimes even when you go to holy places, you don't feel that energy. And I was like constantly contemplating, like, is there something wrong with me that I don't feel this energy? Or like, am I doing something wrong? Or is it like the people beyond, like this is something beyond my understanding? So I
Right.
think it was a very, yeah, it was a self-reflection moment for me that, holy places are actually carried within the people and the association with people.
Very good point, Pratibha. That's such a good reflection of yours. Because I also feel when I go to holy places, sometimes I feel like I came to a holy place, I should feel in my consciousness quite awakened and quite revolutionized. But on the contrary, I feel more what do you call burdened because there are so many things happening here. Like there's so many people around. They all are crying, speaking about buy this, buy that. Have I walked into a marketplace or a holy place? And that can affect us for sure. That is why Prabhupada says when we go to holy place, we should look for what? Holy water? A deity? No, we should look for holy people. So if you go to a holy place and if you didn't hear from a holy person, then you didn't visit a holy place. In fact, in the Bhagavatam it said that if you go to a holy place just for the purpose of bathing, then you are just like an ass who worships his own home and his own country and he worships his own birthplace. So next time when we go to a holy place, we should seek to speak or hear from a holy person. Otherwise, there was no point going there. And interestingly, to your first point, very interesting. This is something which I asked a lot of people. Like last year, one devotee was there. He was asking my recommendation to get initiated from a wonderful devotee in our movement. And I asked him, that planning to get initiated from this devotee, but what is your plan to hear from him? Because initiation means, like many of the devotees here, I'm sure you're planning to get initiated in the future, but what is your plan to hear from those great devotees? We get initiated very easily in ISKCON. Okay, let's get initiated. Let's receive Diksha. But what is your plan to hear from pure devotees? How much time in a year are you willing to take out to hear from them? When Parishit Maharaj was told that he has 7 days left, he put everything away and heard from him. But how much time do we have left? Do we know? In last month, so many wonderful devotees have left the planet. Like Agnidev Prabhu, he had a stroke, he left. Charu Prabhu, he was driving and he met an accident. Great devotees of Prabhupada, then they were left. So as the time passes, many great devotees of the Lord are leaving the planet. When will we make time to hear from them? Our busy lives have no end. But we should have a plan for hearing from great devotees. At least in a year, we should say, okay, 2 weeks, this is my summer, this is my healing vacation. For these 2 weeks, I will forget that I'm Pratibha. I will forget that I'm Harsh. I'm a student. I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a scientist. For these 2 weeks, I am a devotee of Krishna. And I will find my teachers and I will spend those 2 weeks with them. And I will say, please speak to me about Krishna. And I assure you, if you can make a plan like that, then you're really attracting, making Krishna really inquisitive about you. And then he will start changing things in your life to do something amazing in your life. You're ready for adventures. But if you can make a plan like that, 2 weeks in a year, just for hearing about Krishna, healing vacation, where you go and meet devotees and just hear from them. No vacation, nothing else. Then you will see, wow. And if you can't do 2 weeks, do a week. If you can't do a week, at least 5 days in a year can be given for Krishna, like that. But thank you for sharing your reflection, Pratibha.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Siddha Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vinay Prabhu.
Thank you for wonderful talk and class. Actually, I just wanted to highlight one thing I catch on that simple association also make difference if you don't get even time to read all the scriptures or go with the full Krishna consciousness. Simply by listening and association with devotees can also equally get you into full Krishna consciousness. That's one thing is really caught my attention.
Yes, Prabhupada said of the 9 practices of devotional service, healing is the foremost one. This is in 7th chapter, text number 1 of Gita. Prabhupada says that. And he says in BRS, Bhakti Sindhu, that any of these processes can lead one to perfection. So just by healing itself, we can perfect our spiritual life. Doesn't mean our chanting has to be perfect, but if you can hear perfectly, we can go back to Godhead. So very important. Thank you, Meena. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
I guess I can go next, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for joining us again. And also thanks to everyone else who's already shared their reflections. There were a few
Yes.
things, few things which I did not pick up, maybe because I was distracted, that or I did not think in that perspective, but which was very beautiful when I heard from everyone else. So yeah. So my question before I share my reflection, Prabhuji, is so there's always this little anxiety to some extent that although there's always so many, as you said, there's so many devotees who are available and ready to speak, who are advanced, and when I do hear from them, I do feel that transformation in my heart to whatever extent. I feel different after I hear. But then to make that choice to show up and hear is not very easy all the time. So there's always that anxiety that to make that choice, that inertia to go and show up. I don't know how to get better at that.
I didn't understand the question. Can you explain one more time, please?
So all I'm saying is, Prabhuji, there's always devotees who are giving lectures and like even come to the campus, and like there are times when I
Sure.
choose to do something else rather than that, so that
Right.
inertia to show up.
Right. Okay, I understand. So you're saying right now there are so many opportunities at your campus, in your surroundings. And now there's thanks to internet, we have classes happening all the time online. You know where to show up, where to show not, and then you're feeling maybe you missed out something. But if you're listening all the time online, then where do you have time for your other services? Very important, very important, interesting thing. How do we choose where to hear from? So in this regard, I'd like to quote a verse from CC, chapter 1, text number 47. Krishna says, आदित्य शिक्षा गुरु के ताजानी कृष्ण रस रूपा अंतर्यामी भक्त श्रेष्ठ ए दुई रूपा. One should know the instructing spiritual master to be personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as a super soul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord. So Krishna is the one who is coming as our Shiksha Guru, coming here to give us instruction. And he's also super soul, he's also Paramatma. So it is perfectly all right that when you hear from somebody, you should check in your heart after hearing from the devotee that how does your heart feel? Does your heart feel some glimpses of love of Krishna? If it does feel, then congratulations, Krishna is starting to show up in your life as Shiksha Guru. And that's the devotee from whom you should hear more and more. Now, if there are other devotees coming in town or giving an opportunity online, then they are optional. But as you grow in spiritual life, you should figure out few devotees from whom you feel you receive the most reciprocation in your heart from Krishna. Because we have to learn to trust our heart, because Krishna is there in the heart. So he tells us, yes, Roshni, this person, I am speaking through him to you. And if you feel like that, hearing from this person again and again, then you continue hearing that. And it is not the case that person necessarily will be your Shiksha Guru for whole life. Because there are Shiksha Gurus of two types, Prabhupada says in the purport. There's a Shiksha Guru who is guiding you at this moment in life where you are. But there are Shiksha Gurus who are liberated souls, who are pure, who have really self-realized himself. Those who are guiding you, like say myself, I'm not a pure devotee yet. So I may be able to inspire you for some time until you grow to a certain life, certain aspect in your spiritual life. But after a certain point in your life, you may feel like, I need some more guidance. And then Krishna will tell you also, oh, now you can hear from this Maharaj or this person. And then your focus may also change, may also evolve. It happened in my life also. Growing up in my Krishna conscious life, I had some teachers, some gurus who were guiding me. And I loved hearing from them for like 5-6 years. But after a certain point, I started receiving more reciprocation, hearing from another devotee. And then those first devotees were not that much inspiring as before. They're still wonderful devotees, but not as much inspiring. So Krishna started showing up more in other people. Because as we grow in our spiritual lives, we would really need more and more Shiksha Gurus at different stages in our spiritual life. So we should be open to that Krishna will reciprocate to you, to where you are. And then, of course, there's so many options there, so one can get confused. But our primary focus should be to few Shiksha Gurus. I would say 2, 3, not more than that. Because then it becomes too splayed out and you can't focus, isn't it? So you can pick yourself, not pick yourself, I'm not necessarily pick, but you discern yourself with your prayers and your heart that whom you want to hear from. And then you focus your energy and attention on them. Those are your primary sources of healing. Everything else is optional. If you can do it, it's good. If not, that's also fine.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Because sometimes there's always that guilt also that maybe because I'm not feeling that inspiration when I show up in certain places.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's not meant for me. I don't know if it's that's the reason, or I'm very distracted because of my own things. Yeah.
So another thing is this way, that we should always look to what our Param Guru Srila Prabhupada is saying. He's our founder Acharya. So we should every day, as much as possible, listen to him. Okay. If you're listening to him every day, then you're already doing the first check mark because he is a foundation, our founder Acharya. Then comes your Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru. Then you have one or two people whom you try to listen as much as possible. And if after doing that, if you have spare time, then you can listen to other devotees. Now, if you have opportunity to hear in person, that's the best thing. So I prefer also hearing in person because it's a big difference when you're hearing in person versus hearing online. So if I were you, I will try to make time that whoever your Shiksha Gurus are or Diksha Gurus are, try to make a plan that how you can visit them and hear from them in person for a couple of weeks in a year. Just being with them and hearing from them. That will give you enough nourishment to go on in spiritual life. And then other guests, other speakers who are coming in town, who are coming online, we pay all respects to them, but we have limited time, you know. Krishna has given us our gurus who we're listening from. Other Vaishnavas are wonderful. We respect them, but depending on how much time we have. Some people have more time, they can hear more. But you are studying for PhD, you have to write papers, read so many papers, attend so many conferences, give talks. You're already embedded. Say you were a brahmachari like me, even I also don't have so much time. But suppose you were, if you have time, then you can do that like that, more and more healing.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
And my other takeaway from today is the mood in a holy dham, because just like Pratibha said,
Yeah.
the first time I went to Vrindavan, like my sister and I were so excited, and yeah, I just felt so bad and guilty that what have we even, it just feels like I never really visited a holy place in my life so far
Yes.
properly.
Yes, yes. But did you go to New Vrindavan or no? Not yet.
Not yet, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now you know how to visit a holy place. You have to go and find a great devotee and hear from them. Then you will see the experience of holy place will change. Like for many years, I used to go to Govardhan and I met this devotee, their mother Archa Murthy. She's super ecstatic devotee who does parikama of Govardhan for last 10, like last 20, 25 years. And she does every day. And that became the highlight of Govardhan parikama. I will go to Govardhan parikama. Usually I go to parikama in like 6 hours. But with her, it takes 6 hours to just do half parikama. But that half parikama of 6 hours with her is the most ecstatic parikama because she will show you different parts of Govardhan. Oh, we'll stop here. This is the pastime which Krishna did here. Oh, let's do some cleaning of temple here. Sometimes on the parikama mark, she will go. And the parikama, there's old temples. And she will take paints with her. And she will ask us to paint. I'm somebody who's illiterate, man. I never do it even in my class. I used to run away from art class. But here I'm painting deities. I'm painting on the walls in temples in Govardhan. Maybe that is so ecstatic because this is Krishna's home. We're making it beautiful. For hours, we're doing that. And then she will stop by some Babas on the Govardhan Marg who know her and she will bring medicine for them. And then we are applying medicine on the Baba's feet, helping him. And then the Baba is cooking khichdi for us. Then the holy name becomes alive. Then we go to the same Parikrama mark and there are these local Brajbasis who will give us chapatis and we bring those chapatis home and then we heat them up and have this at our breakfast. Then I was one time with her and then she was saying, okay, today we're going to install this Govardhan Shila. Can you do Kirtan? I'm again illiterate when it comes to music also. So I'm doing Kirtan with her there in installation of the deity. Afterwards, we were walking and we came across Manasi Ganga. She said, okay, let's go and find this Shila in the center of the Manasi Ganga and we have to go and embrace it. No, I didn't mean any gumshoe or anything. But she jumped into the lake with her sari on, and she said, "Come on!" So I'm wearing my dhoti. I jumped into the river with this to follow her, and then we embraced Govardhan Shila there, and come back, and then we walk back, wet to our ashram. So like that, if you meet a pure devotee, they're ecstatic, So we have to go when we go to a holy place, find a pure devotees and spend time with them. Then the dham becomes alive. Otherwise, dham is hidden. It's not so much available. And then many such devotees, we have to only pray. If you pray, Krishna is ready to supply devotees. If you pray sincerely, Krishna will send pure devotees to us, for sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Everybody's going in circles. Yeah. Is that it? Somebody left?
Vaibhavi and Harsh, Prabhuji.
Okay, yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class and thank you everyone for the wonderful reflections too. So my takeaways are like I really think how hearing from a pure devotee can awaken our heart. Like, so whenever I go to class, yeah, whenever even my thoughts were so confused during the day, sometimes I don't have a reason how it happens. Sometimes it makes me calm as well. So yeah, I really feel that can how hearing is so powerful. And I really liked how you mentioned practicing, uh, your recent realization that practicing, as you practice, you'll understand more about your spiritual progress as well. So, hearing as well as practicing that is equally important. And thirdly, yeah, I am so grateful that I have this association, and I and that demonstrates that how association with the pure devotee can awaken our consciousness as well. Because I'm so grateful to have association with the devotees, and I know that we are not pure devotees, so I can't even imagine how association with the pure devotees would be then. uh, yeah, those are my three takeaways from this class, and thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. There's a verse in Bhagavatam 11th canto where Uddhava is being told by Krishna that a person is peaceful if he has three types of association. One, seniors from whom he can listen to, peers with whom he can share spiritual life, and juniors to whom he can teach Krishna consciousness. So if we have these three types of people in our life, then we'll be very happy. So we are very fortunate to have friends here who are interested in studying Bhagavatam. And this is a very big blessing to all of you and to me that we have friends like you who want to study Bhagavatam. And I pray that this association stays lifelong, that we always able to come together and discuss Bhagavatam. And this will give us the most deeper satisfaction to our heart. And in addition to that, we should have seniors for whom we listen and also juniors to whom we teach Krishna consciousness. And if we do that, we'll be very happy in our life, in our spiritual journey.
Hare Krishna, I would like to say something.
Yes, my friend Rajiv.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yesterday, I was so fortunate. I was just walking up for some preparation for Bhakti Vriksha at my home, and then I met both Prabhuji. I don't even remember their name very well, but I know they are like pure devotees from my point of view, and they are really good. So, and I was fortunate to attend this class today. And I'm also feeling very blessed that I got chance to service them. And I see he's so sick. His nose is always like he's like having cold and other thing, but still giving the class. This is really good. I really love all of your dedication and so fortunate to attend your class today. And really, really nice. Like, and I really enjoyed the class. It's very wonderful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So here Rajiv, he works at Google for the last 20 years. He's a smart guy and he met us yesterday outside the store and he helped us a lot. And now he's hosting us also today because we needed some help. And he said, yes, please come on. And he fed us last night and he's feeding us this today also. Very nice host here. Okay, thank you, Baby, for speaking and leaving. And I think Harsh, who looks like a new person today. Harsh reborn, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the nectarian class.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, you mentioned that any one devotional service, even just hearing perfectly, can lead you back to Godhead. But I had just one question: how to hear perfectly? Like in terms of like right now, we in my state, I constantly compare because of my tendencies, envy, and stuff like that. I compare people. Okay, he's a senior devotee, might be a pure devotee. So let me hear from him, and neglecting someone who is a neophyte or something like that. Subtly, I might not do it like in a externally very harsh manner, but subtly I might be doing it internally. So what I try to do is like I'm trying to consider everyone as a pure devotee. Uh, but I don't know how. What are the symptoms like when you hear perfectly?
Yeah. So I will answer this. I would say share something, but before I do that, we also have a good friend of mine here, Narada Muni Prabhu. He just walked in and he heard your question, and he's also quite self-reliant. Although he's very new in Krishna consciousness, but I feel he's very mature. And as I was mentioning in the beginning of my class, and my most recent realization is that as we start our practice of Krishna consciousness, our past practice comes up very quickly. So he's somebody who made a lot of progress in his past life, and he's picking up this lifetime very early. So I'll ask him to share something on this. The question, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Right. Wow, so many lovely faces. Okay. The question was about how do we know who's a pure devotee?
And how do we hear properly?
How do we hear properly?
Yeah.
Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is a wonderful question, actually. I'm speaking on behalf of Siddha Hari, so I pray that he can speak through me, and my other teachers can speak through me as well. Receptivity is actually one of the most important things to hearing from a pure devotee. Because when we're hearing from a pure Vaishnav, there can be 50 people in the room who are having 50 different kinds of experiences based on the receptivity of what they're receiving in the heart from the person who's speaking. So, what should our mood be? What should we be thinking of? How should we be hearing? We should be always conscious of the fact that I have impurities in my heart. And although I may not be able to understand everything this person is saying, please Krishna, please Srimati Radharani, please Srila Prabhupada, please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please allow this mercy that's emanating from the mouth of this pure devotee to enter into my heart and purify me so that I can one day understand. And when we have that attitude, then the seeds are actually planted within the heart. So it's like you have grains of mercy that are emanating from the mouth of the pure devotee, and those then enter into your ear, but you have to allow them to enter into your heart. And so for that, we also have to be conscious of our own shortcomings. Because sometimes what happens is you're hearing a nectarian class from a pure devotee. Maybe he's speaking about a beautiful Leela about Radha and Krishna, or Krishna and the cowherd boys, and Mother Yashoda. And we have something within our heart that's called pratishta. So pratishta is an anartha, and it's something that we search for. We search for recognition. It's a sense of pride. It's a sense of thinking that, yes, I am an advanced devotee. And I definitely have that. I don't know about you. You all seem very special. But it's there, and it's because the false ego is very strong. So when we're conscious of those things, then we can prevent ourselves from thinking, yes, I understand this. And oh, he's speaking about a pastime of Krishna and the cowherd boys. I understand this. This is a big trap. This is a very big trap, because understanding means realization. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Pratyaksha-vagamam dharmyam susukam kartamavyam. This is the perfection of religion. Why? Because it can be experienced. It's not because we just have knowledge, it's because we want realization. So that's one thing that's always helped me, is whenever I think myself to be knowing something that I'm hearing, I always do my best to check myself and really pray internally to please allow this to be revealed more in my heart. So when we're listening, we should be receptive, we should be humble, and we should be very open, because sometimes pure devotees have different moods. You even see in like the CC, for example, there's Nitya Siddha devotees coming from the spiritual world that have quarrels with each other or have disagreements. So it's natural, actually. So we should also be open to the fact that this person may have a different perspective, and how can I internalize this and allow it to grow in my life? So I think the most important point is to be humble and receptive, and to have a really prayerful mood when we're hearing that. Because, for example, the prayer that Prabhupada gives us every morning for the Guru Puja, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya, which is, may I always be purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. So to be conscious of that really is a profound experience, and Krishna will actually reciprocate with you with that when you are sincere. I'm not sure if that helps with your question. Do you have anything else?
No, absolutely, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Siddha Hari, would you like to add anything?
Yeah. I mean, I want to add one more thing. All the Prabhu shared very beautifully. One more thing I want to add is that when we say hearing, we have to follow what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprasthena sevaya upatakshite jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So Krishna is saying Tadvidi pranipatena. So if you want this knowledge, then Tadvidi pranipatena. Pranipatena means go and meet this person. Pariprasthena sevaya. You have to hear from that person and offer him service. So when we say we hearing from somebody, then these two elements should be there. Then we should go to hear from them, not just watch it on YouTube. Just like, can you have a partner over YouTube or Zoom for whole life? You can meet them one time, introduce them, but you can't have a relationship over the internet. Similarly, with the guru also, you can't just have a relationship over MP3 files or SoundCloud or YouTube. You have to have a relationship in person. That's Pranipatana. Then there also should be some service. But what type of service? You have to go and ask them. Like, how can I surrender service to you? So if you have these two ingredients, then the fruit of that person's speaking really fructifies in our heart. So healing means going to see them and then carrying some service to them and asking them questions. That is a process given by in the Gita by Krishna. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so we'll end here. I will end my part and I will offer obeisance to Srila Prabhupada because it is by him we have received this benediction that we are able to come together and we are in the foreign country, foreign world, covered by foreign elements, but we are still discussing Bhagavatam. So Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prashanine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No, Narada ki jai. Hare Krishna everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hope to see you soon.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.